everybody. It is photo show weekend. I can't believe it. I love these weekends. We are in a hotel in Birmingham. Well, about 10 minutes from the NEC. It's day one. It's a photo show. I can't believe it. I love these days. I've just said that. I know I have. But oh my goodness. Today we're going to be seeing talks from Libby Penman, Tesney Ward, the Crohn's and colitis guy, which is really cool because I want to, if nobody else asks, I want to ask him questions like, how does he deal with like fatigue? Because that's one of the things that really kicks off with me, is I would love to reply to you all. I read your comments, but then sometimes I'm so tired, I just don't have the energy or mental energy to reply. So I do apologise if it takes me a while to ever reply to you. It is just part of my health condition. I go out, make these content, and then I'm flawed for days. But I love these shows. And then the next day we're going to see Espen Helland. He is my favourite photographer. I've done Black Grouse Lek with Espen. I actually met him in Tanzania as well. So I'm looking forward to watching his talk. We've got a few others that are talking I want to see. Bill Ward from Corrie, Charlie Stubbs, he's talking as well on Sunday. So we're hopefully going to try and get his talk. And then we're back home Monday, but then travelling back up to Birmingham Monday night, ready for my talk on Tuesday. Me talking at the photo show. Does it get any bigger than that? I can't believe it. So you will see little clips from day 1 and 2 and a few clips from day 3, but then I will record my talk so you can see me talking about seabirds at the photo show. Mind blown. Total mind blown. But we're going to go and get ready. I say we're in a hotel now. We're going to stay here tonight and tomorrow night, and then drive home Sunday. So I will fill you in as and when I can. And I will speak to you later.
You'll have seen Nikon, Fujifilm over there, Sigma are over there. Setting up right now. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Down the red line you can see Canon at the end there. Also Adobe have got a big stand, lots of talks on their theatres. In fact, many of the big manufacturers have got theatres with their own content. Make your way down to the Creative Playground, take some images, share them on social media, zap the QR code, and you could be walking away with a lot more kit than you bargained for. Anyway, the doors are going to be opening here in just a few minutes' time, so hey, have a fantastic day if you're here for just one. If you're here for 2, 3 or 4, then come and say hi. We're going to be here all the way throughout this year's show and have a fantastic time. See you later.
So creativity is not something you're born with, it's not a talent.
North Star. Tell me what you try to do now.
So ultimately, when I start social, it's the same thing until you get your growth. Like, as I've grown over the millions, I've gone, right, this was my initial message. And
if I have to buy a tape drive and whatever, it gives me this backup and this business.
When I went full-time, thought it would be good to start exploring restaurant photography. I've not done a lot of that, and because of that, I wasn't very...
I'm Libby. I juggle sort of many different roles, but it's all sort of revolves around cameras, one form, shape or form. So I do a lot of on-screen stuff for TV, all sort of wildlife based, so like Spring Watch.
Find ourselves pretty easily. If you've ever wondered what it is, now you know. The session that I'm going to do today is called Good Social Media Content, There's No Secret Sauce, as you can see on the screen here.
Good morning everybody. So it's day 2 at the photo show. it's the day I go and see Esben Helen's talk. Can't wait. And Bill Ward as well. They're the two that I'm really looking forward to today. It was quite fun at the photo show yesterday. I really enjoyed the Crohn's dude. I really enjoyed watching him talk. That was really good. And I really enjoyed Libby Penman. She's made me have a bit of a think about how I do my videos. So I'm looking forward to testing a few different ideas in the next coming weeks when I go back out wildlifing and seeing what you think of them. So it might be a bit different, my channel, for a bit. Just testing, see how you prefer it. I will always do what you prefer. It's you that are watching it and it's you that's taking the time. But it really has been a bit of an eye-opener. So it's been fun. Today we're going to watch a few more about videos because I don't feel like I need to waste my time. Not waste my time because I do love listening to other photographers. And you always learn. But I feel like I need to learn more about the video side of it. So that is what we're concentrating on a lot of this show, is doing the video part. So it's going to be another interesting day today. And I will fill you in possibly when we get in the car because we're driving home tonight. And then we're coming back up Monday night. So if I have time, I will do it before we leave. If not, I will fill you in, because this is going to be one big video. I will fill you back in on Tuesday morning, and I will be so nervous. I know for a fact I'm going to be so nervous. It's going to be terrifying. And oh my God, it's the weekend, and I'm talking at the photo show. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
Now at this point, I don't have time to read 60 pages on working on a Harvard piece. As I said, I'm just really doing the research. But at the moment, I have some names of some people.
You know, Sarah, I've never photographed things before. And I was like, what do you mean you've never photographed? She meant she does landscapes and seascapes and big pictures, okay? And I had been on the wander and I'm like, look at that.
On our own. So I found this is a great way to meet up with friends, have a lot creative. I always feel like coming back from Dover, I feel much more ready to take on the year. I'm photographing probably with an ISO 5000 and 1/5 of a second shutter speed. And the image stabilization these days is absolutely amazing. So as long as that bird stands still for a fraction of a second, I can take a burst of images and get some sharp ones. And I don't tend to fight the light, so if there's not that much available light, I'd rather go a slow shutter speed and try and create some interesting patterns.
You don't have to take your eyes on no proportions of this whatsoever. Go from your subject. For me, this is the subject of this photograph is human awe at scale.
Today, so there's no audio, so we're just gonna have to use our imagination and watch it in silence. But I work on a lot of commercial content, so as you can see, it's like little brand campaigns, calls, fitness, very varied.
Anyone else get goosebumps watching that? That is wonderful.
Oh my goodness, it is the day that I am speaking at the photo show. Mind is blown. We are still in a hotel. We're in a different hotel now. I actually slept better than I thought I would last night. I thought I'd be up all night. The night before, I hadn't like dreams that I was doing my speech and people came up and done karaoke and pushed me off the stage. That was the kind of dreams I had the night before. But I was all right last night. I've had a good sleep. I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified. I can't believe it. I am speaking at the photo show. Does it get any bigger than that? Like, this is amazing. This really is epic. But yeah, so a huge thank you to SheClicks, because I wouldn't have been doing this if it wasn't for SheClicks. So thank you so much for giving me this chance. I hope I don't let you down. I might try and fill you in before I do my talk, or I might be in the bathroom throwing up. I don't know what I'm going to be like, but I am terrified. Deep breaths. Just remember, deep breaths. But today is the day. I will definitely fill you in afterwards because I feel like I will be on such a high. It's going to be... I am looking forward to it. I really am. I can't wait just to get the words about seabirds out there, really, and show some of my pictures, and it's crazy.
A sneak preview. Mark your cards for some of the things that you might like to engage with today. First of all, make sure if you haven't had one thrust into your hands on the way in by the team, then pick up one of these. It's got all of the content across the 7 main stages here. Of course, there's lots of other things happening on the exhibitors stages as well. 3. How you doing?
Morning.
You're good? Morning.
So today, now we're going to hear from Emma Campbell, who is an equine photographer, and she's going to take us through what she does. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you. Can you all hear me all right? Does it sound okay? Just a row of hands first of all, just to see the different levels we've got here of experience. I ever got published in Horse and Hound magazine. I was still a student, and I learned with film camera.
I do a lot of content around cinematography, short films, a little bit of tutorials, and kind of everything I'm truly passionate about.
The device you have with you like pretty much every single day, and that really eliminates a lot of barriers when it comes to creating, because when you've got lots of equipment it can be a bit overwhelming. If you have a phone, you know exactly where you're shooting and what.
Oh my goodness, I am at the stand ready to do my talk. The nerves are kicking in. I'm shaking like a leaf. This is terrifying, but I am so excited. Oh, I can't believe it. This is actually happening. It's like, I am shaking like a leaf. I will let you know how it goes. Obviously, you're going to see the talk. I will let you know how it goes.
So thank you for coming to the SheClicks stand, and I'd just like to say thank you to Sony for sponsoring this audio system, which enables our voices to be heard. So it's so much. If you spent a lot of time organising a talk like this, it's really nice that you can actually be heard rather than have to bellow at people, because it does take your throat out. I have to say, take your voice out. So Ali Marley is here today to talk about seabirds.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me all right? Yeah. So thank you so much for my talk. I know these talks, so many places you can be, and to come here and see me, it means amazing. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here at the photography show. I have been stood where you are and sat where you are all the time. I've come here for about 7 years now. So to be stood here is absolute bucket list dream come true. So a huge thank you to Angela and everyone at SheClicks for having me. You've made a dream come true. So my name is Ali Marley and I'm a Seabird photography specialist and I'm an OM system user. I actually attend workshops in association with RSPB Benton Cliffs, teaching people how to photograph these amazing birds. They've become a bit of my obsession, if I'm honest. So my journey into photography began in 2014 when my husband bought me my first camera during a really difficult time in my life. I was struggling with severe Crohn's disease and I had to step away from a career. That camera became my lifeline. The first time I visited Benton Cliffs and stood at the top of those towering chalk cliffs watching thousands of gannets and puffins, I had absolutely no idea that these birds would completely change my life. But they did. They've become my passion, my therapy and my purpose. This image means the world to me. 2 puffins on Lunga, Trenish Islands. First time ever landing on a puffin located island. I was like a kid at Christmas. But this photo was personally chosen by Chris Packham to feature on a charity calendar. It was the first time anything I'd ever created had been recognised. And I knew just thought, this is the moment I might actually be able to do this. And I actually living with chronic illness, I've got fibromyalgia, I've got Crohn's disease. It means daily pain and fatigue. The mornings I can barely get out of bed. But on the cliff, something shifts. I'm not that sick person when I'm on the cliffs. I'm just a photographer. The birds don't care about my medical history. The gannets don't judge my limitations. Photography's become my therapy. It gave me purpose when I felt purposeless. It gave me achievement when everything else felt impossible. If you're going through something difficult, I said, find your own cliffs. Find your thing that makes you forget everything else, even if it's just for a few hours. So today I want to take you on a journey. We're going to talk about why seabirds are such amazing photographic subjects, where you can find them right here in the UK, how to anticipate the bird behaviour, settings that actually work, and I'll tell you how you can actually join me to photograph these birds yourselves. So first, why seabirds? Well, if you look at this is Benton Cliffs in Yorkshire. Thousands upon thousands of gannets, covering every single ledge available. And the best part, this is in Yorkshire. You don't need to travel to the Galapagos to get these seabirds. Some of the world's best seabird colonies are right here in the UK, and many of them are free to access all year round. Then there's the subjects themselves. I mean, look at them faces. How can you not fall in love with a puffin? They're so full of character, they're so charismatic. If you want Instagram engagement, photograph a puffin. They are literally the golden retrievers of the bird world. Everybody loves them. But it's not about cute faces. Seabirds give you drama and action. This is a gannet plunge diving. They dive at 60 miles per hour from about 30 metres in height. It's one of the most nature spectacular things you can see, and you can actually see them from the cliffs. This was on a boat trip, but you can see them diving straight from the cliffs. The action never stops at a seabird colony. So where can you find these birds? Let me show you some of the UK's best seabird sites. This here is St Abbs Head, but this is Benton Cliffs in Yorkshire.
This is my home base. It's England's largest seabird colony. Over 500,000 birds through breeding season. It's RSPB managed and it's free to visit for RSPB members and £2 to £8 if you're not an RSPB member. But it's so accessible. You can literally park, walk 5 minutes and you'll be at the edge of the cliffs with gannets flying eye level. The season runs from February to October for gannets and April to July for puffins. If you only visit one seabird site, this is the place to visit. Then we have the Fine Islands of Northumberland. It's famous for incredibly close puffin encounters. These birds are so used to people, you can photograph them from just a metre or two away. You do need to take a boat launch to go to farms, but there's several operators from sea houses, and you spend about 2 to 3 hours with an hour on the island. You all know Arctic terns. They nest on the coast, they will dive bomb you. Wear a hat and wear something you are not bothered about getting pooped on. I was covered with that picture. You've got Lunga in the Trenish Islands as well, off the west coast of Scotland. This is where I photographed my first puffins on land. It was magical. You get there by boat from Mull. When you land, you're surrounded by puffins, razorbills, guillemots. They're just incredibly approachable. If you sit there quietly, they will walk right past you. Scottish light is beautiful as well. You often get the very diffused light. It's very overcast a lot of the time. It's just a nice big soft box. Boat trips from Lunga run from April through to July during the peak breeding seasons from Oban or Mull. Quick mention on Scomer Island though in Wales. It's another famous puffin site, but I have never managed to get there. You need to book early. If you don't book early, you don't get there. Bookings open from about January, but they do have accommodation there as well, which is what I'm trying to do, is stay on Scomer. So you need to book day opens. Then there's Bass Rock in Scotland, home to the world's largest northern gannet colony, 150,000 gannets. The entire rock appears white because it is covered with birds. Most people experience it from boat trips that circle the rock, which is absolutely fantastic. But for 6 years, I tried to get on Bass Rock. 6 years of weather cancellations, rough seas, COVID, bird flu, plans just falling through. This became the photographer's white whale for me. In July 2025, I finally managed to land on the rock. I stood with 150,000 gannets around me. Another story is patience and persistence in wildlife photography. It really does pay off. Don't give up when you book at these locations. It really was worth every single failed attempt. So let's talk technical. What settings actually work for seabird photography? First and most important, shutter speed is king. These are fast-moving birds. The rapid wing beats. Your shutter speed is too slow, you get blurred wings. So let me show you what I mean. So puffins are speed demons on the seabird world. Their wings beat about 400 times a minute. That is incredibly fast. For sharp puffin flight shots, you need an absolute minimum of 4,000 of a second shutter speed. I actually prefer 5,000 or faster if the light allows. If you look at the shot, you see every feather is in detail. The beak is in detail, the eye has got detail. That's because my shutter speed was fast enough to freeze that motion. This was shot at 5,000 of a second, f6.1 and 5,000 ISO. Here's what happens when the shutter speed is too slow. You can do it technically like I did for here, but this was shot at 2,500 of a second. It's way too slow for a puffin. The wings are blurred, the image looks a little bit soft. It's a little learning moment. Sometimes it just thinks, yeah, that clicks a bit. Gannets are slightly more forgiving. The bigger birds, the wings beat slower. Gannet, 2,000 of a second. And that usually works well, or I do sometimes shoot faster. This was at 2,500 of a second. F8. Gannets have a 6-foot wingspan. You need a bigger f-stop for gannets. And 800 ISO this was at. You're aiming for getting the detail in the wings, the detail in the tail, the detail in the face, especially when they're coming towards you like this. For aperture, I live in the f5.6 to f8 range for seabird flight photography. It gives you enough depth of field so the whole bird is sharp. It's especially important when they're coming towards you, but it also blurs the background nicely, making your subject stand out.
Don't go too wide. F4 can be risky because your depth of field gets a little bit shallow. Let's talk about ISO. Here's the thing, do not be afraid of ISO. This shot was taken at 8,000 ISO, and look at how clean it is. You've got your modern day AI to clean your images, but modern cameras really handle ISO really well. I actually use auto ISO 99% of the time, especially at seabird colonies. The light dramatically changes. I can then have my camera on the settings I need, my aperture I need, and I just need to focus on composition, the action. I don't need to then worry the light suddenly changed while I wait for this gannet to take off. Your focus mode is crucial. You must have to use continuous autofocus. This mode continuously tracks your subject. Single focus shot will not work with birds in flight, birds in action. Here you can see gannets fighting over fish. Continuous autofocus, let me track that Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm not sure where you heard up to, so I will literally repeat this again for you. So your focus mode is crucial. You must use continuous autofocus. Continue to track your subjects. If you use single autofocus, it will not work for birds in flight. Here you can see gannets fighting over fish. Continuous autofocus kept tracking through the entire sequence, allowing me to get that picture at the precise moment I wanted. So to recap technical settings, shutter speed 4,000 of a second or faster for puffins, guillemots, razormots, bills, 2,000 for gannets, aperture f5.6 to f8, auto ISO, continuous autofocus, high speed continuous drive mode. Get these settings right and you are 80% of the way there. Let's talk about high key versus low key. This is one of my favourites for seabird photography. High key means bright, white, airy images. Often they're overexposed with white backgrounds. This gannet is shot in high key. Bright white bird against a pale sky are deliberately overexposed to keep this clean, dreamy feel. High key works beautifully for seabirds. They're already white, and your emphasis on the purity and the grace. Camera settings slightly positive exposure compensation. You're exposing for the bird. Let the sky blow out. It's intentional, not a mistake. Another high key example, if you notice a slight soft bright quality, the minimum distractions, it's about simplicity, elegance, emphasis on the subject through light. This works particularly well on overcast days when you're not fighting harsh shadows. The light is beautiful, it creates this great big softbox. The key is a creative decision. You're choosing to go bright and airy. You're not accidentally blowing out them highlights. So let's go the opposite direction with low key. You've got your dark backgrounds, you've got your dramatic lighting, high contrast. This creates mood, emotion, drama. This gannet is lit by a single shaft of light coming through storm clouds. The bird pops because it's the only bright element. Low key, it's about controlling what you use, what the eye goes to. It causes dramatic contrast. Your subject becomes almost spotlight lit. I've said that wrong so many times. Against the darkness. Another low key example. See how different it feels from high key? It's high key is very dreamy and peaceful. Low key is very dramatic and powerful. Low key works brilliantly when you have a dark storm clouds. You underexpose them to preserve those deep shadows and only allow the light where you want it. Do not be afraid to go dark. Embrace those shadows. Not every image needs to be bright and airy. So sunrise at Benton Cliffs. I dragged myself out at ridiculous o'clock. It was 2 in the morning. I was at the cliffs before dawn.
The sun starts to rise over the North Sea. Everything turns gold. Two gannets, these are a bonded pair. They start the morning greeting ritual. And that light is just hitting them perfectly. The background, that's not Photoshop. That's not me adding it afterwards. That is from the sun hitting the North Sea. Golden orbs creating this beautiful bokeh in the background. I'm obsessed with stuff like this. You have to work them, you have to show up. You have to be there in the cold dawn waiting. But when it happens, when everything aligns, there is nothing else like it. Golden hour is precious. That's the first hour in the morning. It's worth every cold morning, every early day when you think, I should have stayed in bed. But sometimes you get images like this and it pays off. But here's a secret that really separates okay bird photography to great bird photography, is learning to anticipate action. This is my secret weapon. Birds tell you what they're about to do. They give signals before they fly, before they do anything. If you learn them signals, your success rate goes through the roof. Now let me show you what I mean. So watch this sequence. You've got your first image. See how the gannet's lifted its head, it's got its wing up, it's going where it wants to go. That is a pre-flight signal. If you know these signals, then the wings are lifted, it's getting ready to go, and you have takeoff. Once you recognise them signals, you can be ready with your lens, camera, focus on the shutter, you're ready for it to take off. That is the difference between getting a shot and missing it entirely. Puffins for fish. Now this is a shot everybody wants. It requires patience, but it also requires persistence. It understands behaviour. Puffins feed the pufflins. How amazing is that word, a pufflin? And they feed it multiple times a day. And they bring them back. Normally the peak time is early morning, late afternoon. Certain burrows are more active than others. Once you learn which burrow is active, you can position yourself and be ready for that puffin to come back. So gannets do these incredible courtship displays. Bill fencing where they rapidly tap the bills together. It looks like they are sword fighting. If you see two gannets standing face to face, they're about to do this. Get ready. It lasts a few seconds. If you're anticipating it, you'll capture it. Sky Point is another gannet display that point the bill straight up. It's spectacularly photographic. So here's the thing, once a pair starts, they will often do it multiple times. But it's also, Sky Point, like in this image here, it's a sign of taking off. This gannet took off not long after this picture. But I want to tell you about the shot that almost didn't happen. 6 hours I've been at Beckton that day. 6 hours in the cold. Light was terrible. I was just waiting for something interesting to happen. The weather turned. I mean, hail. From that hail that hit you in the side to the face. Everybody left the cliffs. It was me stood there on my own. I looked ridiculous. I probably was stupid doing it, but the sensible thing would have been to leave, get warm, go and get a coffee, come back another day. But call it instinct, call it stubbornness, whatever you want. Craziness, I just had a feeling. So I popped my hood up, I pinched my camera to protect it, and I looked ridiculous. I was soaking. The hail then eased, the light started breaking through the clouds, and I saw it forming, a rainbow. You'd over the gannet caught me, and my heart started racing. I knew what I wanted. I wanted a gannet flying through this rainbow. I said in my head, come on, please just want you, please just make this work. One gannet, perfect trajectory, flying directly in line with that rainbow. I got my shot. Through 6 hours of patience, being the only person stubborn enough to stand for a hailstorm. This moment is one image. This is what patience in wildlife photography looks like. It's not always comfortable, it's definitely not always sensible, but sometimes you wait for hours and you get nothing. Sometimes just reward you. The best shots come to those who wait. Quick word on composition. Settings are one thing, but it means nothing if your composition is off. The rule of thirds is your friend. Position the bird's eye on the intersecting point. See how the grid lines cross here? That's where the bird's eye should be. Leave space in the direction the bird is looking. It creates balance and it gives the image room to breathe. Simple backgrounds work best. Sky is perfect, clean and simple.
The sea, soft blurred cliffs, they can work. What you want to avoid is busy, distracting backgrounds. If you can move even one step can dramatically change our background. If you can do it, it's almost as important as the subject itself. Think about whether you want environmental shots showing habitat or context, or close-up showing detail. The first one is the first time after the bird flu. That was the first gannet to land on the cliffs. It shows it. Are they going to come back? Both tell different stories. Shoot both when you can. Shoot wide to capture the context, then zoom in to capture the detail. That way you are covered. But let me introduce you to one of my favourite subjects, the Googers. That is a Scottish Gaelic word for gannet chick. Just look at this fluff ball. They hatch late May, early June. They're about 90 days on the nest. They get fed by the parents and they start out just this black blob. Then they suddenly get fluffy. They get bigger and bigger until they develop this white fluff, and then they turn black and then brown with white speckles. Photographing Googers is completely different to putting gannets in flight. They're stationary. They cannot fly yet. You have the time to really work on the composition. Get those intimate moments. The challenge is getting low enough. A lot of seabird colonies are behind the barrier. Find the angles that work. But it's worth the effort for the soulful looks they give you. Googer behaviour is fascinating to watch and photograph. The parents take it in turns to return to the nest, bringing fish, while others... They do this incredible greeting ritual. The gannet Googer will tap at the bill, asking his parent to be fed. It's definitely not the most elegant photographs, but it's definitely captivating. As the weeks go by, the Googers get huge. By the time they're ready to fledge, they're often bigger than the parents. They look like oversized fluffy cushions perched on tiny cliff ledges. Camera settings is so much easier for Googers than gannets in flight. You can get away with 500ths of a second, 1,000th of a second. They're not moving that much. Focus on getting your eye sharp and watch your background. You want clean, uncluttered compositions that really showcase these gorgeous chicks. One of my favourite things about photographing the Googers is capturing their individual personalities through portraits. Unlike flight photography, where you're chasing the action, Googer portraits are about slowing down, waiting for that right expression, the right head turn, the perfect catch light. Look for interaction moments when they're preening, when they're calling for their parents, when they're just being fluffy and naughty. Those little head tilts, the curious ways they look, the beats when they're calling, it all adds character. Soft overcast days, early morning, late afternoon, golden light. It's perfect. It shows the fluffy down. What you want to avoid is harsh midday sun. It creates really bad shadows on the faces. These portraits are some of the most popular images because people just melt at the fluffy Googer. They're the gateway drug to seabird photography. People who don't even care about birds cannot resist a Googer. Seabird for me, seabird photography is not always about getting the technically perfect shots. It's about the stories, the connection, the conservation. This is a black-browed albatross, a southern ocean species that showed up at Benton Cliffs. It was there for a couple of years. Completely average range, thousands of miles from home. Getting to photograph a bird this rare on my home cliffs, it was incredible. These moments are special because they're unpredictable. This is why I always have my camera with me. You never know what something extraordinary might turn up. These black-eyed gannets, they're survivors of avian flu, disease that wiped out has devastated seabird colonies. Normally gannets have these beautiful pale blue eyes, but survivors of the virus have permanently black eyes. Each one of these birds represents both tragedy and thousands that didn't survive, but then there's the hope that the back, the breeding, it's still going to survive. And I photograph these birds now and documenting a crucial moment in conservation history, and that actually matters. And if seabirds keep imagining unexpected, this was my first visit back to Benton Cliffs this year. We were treated to 40 bottlenose dolphins. They were jumping, they were playing, they were catching fish. It's days like this you think it's worth going out in the cold. It's worth all these early mornings. Ultimately, seabirds matter. These colonies matter. And as photographers, we actually have the privilege and the responsibility of telling their stories, raising their awareness of the challenges they're actually facing, and inspiring others to protect them. Every image we share is an opportunity to inspire and advocate these incredible birds. So if you think this sounds amazing, I want to photograph seabirds, I would love to help you. I run hands-on seabird photography workshops with the RSPB, with an association with Benton Cliffs. Small groups, personalised training, full-day photographing these incredible birds. I've literally just led my workshop 2 weeks ago, and it was one of the most terrifying and rewarding things I've ever done. Standing in front of people who trust it, paid money, think she knows what she's talking about, that is terrifying. It took years of building confidence. But watching that people getting their first picture of a gannet in flight and sharp and seeing the moment it clicks, that was worth it. If you have knowledge, other people want to learn it. Share it. It's terrifying, but it is so worth it. I've also just written a book, Discover the Art of Seabird Photography. It's everything I wish someone had told me when I first started out all them years ago. It's the behaviour, it's the insight, it's the location guides, it's the persistence, all of it. Think of it having me stood next to you at a seabird colony. It's everything I've learned over the thousands of hours of photographing these birds. Inside you'll find technical guidance, different situations, different light, real-world examples. I've got some discounted copies with me today, all signed for £25 instead of £30, as a thank you to SheClicks for having me. The book is there as a reference guide. Workshops you get hands-on. So what's next? More workshops, more time at the cliffs, continuing to learn. You never stop learning as a wildlife photographer. I want to expand to other seabird colonies. I want to run international trips one day. I want to keep pushing my own photography, but mostly I want to keep sharing this passion, keep introducing people to these incredible birds, inspiring others to pick up a camera. The journey isn't over, it's just beginning. So let's wrap up with your key takeaways. Fast shutter speeds, minimum 4,000 for a puffin, 2,000 for a gannet. Learn to anticipate behaviour, understand the patterns, read before the action happens, be patient. The best shots come to those who wait. Get out there, these birds are accessible, they're incredible, and they're waiting for you. I started with a camera bought during a really difficult time in my life. No experience, no idea what I was doing. Look where it's led. I'm studying it today. I'm teaching people. I've written a book. If I can do it, you can do it. Your journey starts today. These birds are waiting. So here's my challenge to you. If you've never visited a seabird colony, visit one. Benton, Farms, Bass Rock, anywhere. If you photograph seabirds, struggle with settings, slow down. Understand, observe, get the behaviours. If you're experienced, push yourself, try new techniques, share your knowledge with others. If you're facing challenges, health, confidence, whatever it is, find your cliffs, find your thing. The best time to start was yesterday, the second best time is now. Thank you so much for listening, and get out there and photograph some birds.
Fantastic. Thank you. If you're looking for someone with a bit of passion about seabird photography, I think we've got it right here. You said that was your first talk?
First ever talk.
Wow. That was really good, wasn't it? That was so good. Do we have any questions?
Thank you for the presentation. I'm not into birds or seabirds, but even I'm excited about this now. So the question is, you clearly know what you're doing. How long did it take you to get to this point? And how often do you do this now?
I lead 2 workshops a week now. I still try and go to Benton in between. I've got my first visit to the Isle of May this year. I said my first camera was bought in 2014. I was in the house, I was housebound for 5 years of that. COVID hit, I then got on medication I needed years ago, and that then gave me the chance to go out, explore these seabirds, explore all the locations. So if I'm being honest, I've been probably attempting it for about 5 years of being out there.
Any more questions?
Ali, what size lens do you use, and do you use one per tripod as well?
I use a variety. I'm OM Systems. I have 40 to 150. Some of the Bass Rock pictures are on the 12 to 40, so you can even shoot wide. But the main one I use is my 300 prime, which is 600 full frame, with a 1.4 teleconverter. I use handheld. However, I do best lens ever. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. But I do a lot of video as well because I do YouTube and I showcase these birds on my YouTube channels. And I am now looking at maybe looking at tripod and a gimbal, just because like sometimes when I'm waiting for this planet to fly, I've got fibromyalgia and I have back spasms. I sometimes can't just keep that bit just there long enough for a video, keeping it steady. If I'm just doing photos, I handheld all the time.
Have you tried a speedy gimbal?
Yes, I can't get it because it still doesn't stay put. I want to be at let go
the
of
extra
it.
sport.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions?
Got a challenge for you because I'm coming in, mate.
Yeah.
With a Sony, with an 800. So, well, let's see how we do.
Yeah, we'll get you a shot.
Right. Any more questions then? Okay, well, let's thank Ali in the traditional way. That was absolutely fantastic and very inspirational talk with some amazing images. Well done.
So that is the end of Photoshop for 2026. I apologise that you might be able to hear the engine running. My phone's run out of power, so that's why we had to wait till we got back to the car so I can plug it in and fill you in on everything. Oh my goodness, what a day. I was shaking. I'm still a bit shaky now, and it's been about an hour since I finished, if not more. Yeah, about 2 hours since I finished my talk. I love that. I know I was terrified. I can't even believe the microphone stopped working. We've watched so many talks on the SheClicks stand and the microphone just ran out of battery. But many things happen. But actually that probably done me the world of good with that battery running out. It managed me to catch my breath and no, I can do this. I did feel so nervous and I felt like you could hear it in my voice. It did sound a bit shaky, but that was epic. I ticked off a huge bucket list thing. I love that. I absolutely, it was amazing. So you might have spotted I have got a printer in the boot. Well, the back seat, it's too big for the boot with all our luggage and stuff. I am now going to offer wildlife prints, but the people that plot it actually printed out some of my pictures for me and they're going to share it. And like obviously, so I've got an Epson printer and they've done some prints, and seeing my images print out, they actually said they could have sold a couple of my puffin pictures today. People wanting to buy them, and it's like, no, we're doing this for like somebody who's buying a printer. That was pretty cool as well. So big shout out to the people that plot it. Thank you so much for printing out some pictures for me. I love them. I can't wait to get them framed and put them up on my wall, especially because it was today as well, the day I've talked at the photo show. Does it get any better than that? But I've had a fab weekend. I've got to see my favourite photographer Espen Helland, another OM user and an ambassador. I got to meet Pandora, another OM user. Had some good chats with OM as well today. Today has been utterly bucket list. I've talked at the photography show. I can't believe it. Honestly, I'm gonna go. Oh, don't cry. I've got contact lenses in. I need to drive home. Yeah, I can't believe I've done that. It's so cool. Oh my god, I can't believe I just cried, nearly crying. That is why I do these things. I've got across how much seabirds mean to me, and I've shared Bempton Cliffs. I've shared my home base. I've shared the details about why the gannets need the looking after, and that's why I do this. That's why like seabirds matter to me. As you heard from my presentation, these birds matter, and I get to showcase that and showcase all the stuff that means the world to me. But I've loved it. It's been an amazing few days. I'm so tired. My fibromyalgia is kicking off big style. I've got no intention of getting out of bed tomorrow, but it's been fab, and I will leave you what is coming next week. As I say, from now on I might do my videos a little bit different, so I would love to know your thoughts on the new videos once they come. But I will leave you what's coming next week, and thank you so much everyone. Honestly, it's for you to give me the confidence liking and subscribing to these videos to actually do these things. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world. So today I'm heading somewhere. I genuinely cannot tell you where I am. It's a secret location, but I'm in search of one of the most elusive birds of prey in the UK, the northern goshawk. Now,